Oh, we saw it. Hi, my name is Chante. I went to University of Bristol. I did social policy quantitative research methods. I've just graduated and I work as a freelance editor and writer and work in the industry of politics.
Hi, I'm Aji. I did a law undergraduate degree, now doing a master's in entrepreneurship at Cambridge University. I run a fashion brand, but I also have a legal qualification, so I do some legal consulting as well.
Hi guys, my name is Kilhunt. I'm a law graduate from Nottingham University, currently working in the legal industry.
Hi everyone, I'm Dee. I also studied law at Nottingham University, graduated last summer and I'm currently working in sales.
I'm George Imafidon. I'm an engineer. I study at UCL in mechanical engineering and programming. So I run a technology company called Motivez, and there we kind of plan on impacting people, and everything around young people and access is what I get involved in.
Cool. So to give everyone a background of why we're here today, Akil and I founded a society called the New Black Society in university, and essentially it was all about encouraging people to overcome adversity and become their best selves in various different areas. And now we finished university, we wanted to keep pushing that narrative, and one of the ideas we came up with was to hold panel discussions on different areas and different topics. So that's why we're here today.
Yep. And just to elaborate a bit further on that, so we really want you guys to try and challenge the status quo by overcoming those negative representations that you may put towards your achievements or put towards your personal development. And we really feel the video series can do that because we will be discussing issues that we believe could be really pertinent for people who are coming to different industries or trying to succeed from less privileged or BME backgrounds. So today we are on episode 5. And we are going to talk about how we can change society. And the first topic we're going to discuss is whether or not we actually believe our society is making progress or not. I say that because there's a lot of things happening right now which seem to suggest the society dynamics are shifting and people seem to actually be polarizing in terms of how they actually look at each other now. And I just want to maybe, Aji, so do you want to maybe give your perspective on whether you believe society is actually progressing or not?
Yes, I think the question can't really be boiled down to a yes or no answer. I do think from a historical perspective, because we now have more choice, we now have more freedom, it doesn't necessarily mean that we have progressed as a society in every single area. I think now what's happened is a number of different areas, the problems that existed before now exist under different guises, and those guises now make it more difficult potentially to change those things because they've now become more kind of insidious, more indirect and less openly pertinent. So I'd say on the whole, things are progressing, but not as quickly as a lot of people think they are.
Chante, do you have anything to add to that?
Yeah, I mean, I don't really feel like society is progressing in anything. I feel like we're quite stagnant. Obviously, like historically and like through legislation, like we have made like so many changes and stuff, and we have like more freedoms, and we're able to speak openly about, I guess, a lot of the issues that we face about like fear of like persecution or judgment or whatever. But at the same time, I feel like a lot of that is just something that is like visual. Like people feel validated because they see certain things happening around them, but institutionally, like nothing much has changed. Like if you look at where we are now, we live in the UK, but still like homelessness and poverty is a huge issue, and things like in-work poverty. People still have jobs, and people may have more jobs than they ever had before, but are those jobs actually quality? Are people being paid well enough? Can people afford to live when we have rising like prices and stuff? And so I kind of feel like we just have a whole new set of problems despite having a like layer of I guess like legal protection or societal protections around us.
could explain that. But George, you got one that's a follow.
George can see all the time.
You got better at that now, man.
Yeah, most of the answers have been taken, I would say, on a kind of high level. How I like to see it is, if you have a younger sibling or so, if they were to go into the world in like 10 or 15 years, do you think that they'll have a better chance than you? That's how I see it. From that perspective, I believe they will. The reason why I think they will is because I'm going to ensure that they will with what I can. So I think if I'm trying to do what I was trying to do, like what I'm doing now, 10 years ago, it would have been very difficult. But now it's much easier. So I'll say for individuals to progress, per se, in society, it's much more easier. But society as a whole, I have to agree with Chante, there's a lot of stagnant things for the last 50 years. If you still have a certain surname on your CV, it's the same thing when it comes to career prospects. You have to send out more applications and everything. I literally just read an article and the stats are the same as 50 years ago. So there's no massive difference. Overall though, I think we're now much more able to actually make a difference and make a change in society, much more than ever before. So for me, it's progressing. We've got work to do, but we just have to keep knocking on the doors. That's my thought process.
Do you agree with that today?
Yeah, I think it is a difficult one. It's not sort of, again, it's not black or white. It's difficult because in many ways society has moved forward in various different areas. Things that are available to people today weren't necessarily available to people 150, 100 years ago. So in that sense, yeah, we have stepped forward as a society. But then also there's so much that needs to be done and so much that needs to be changed. So in that sense, no. But then again, echoing what Aji said about things sort of materialising in different ways, I 100% agree with that now. There's different things like social media, it gives people a voice to say things that they wouldn't necessarily have been able to say in the past, and it depends how you look at it. That can be a good thing or a bad thing. Social media allows people to talk about different issues, make people aware of different issues, at the same time people use it as a means to just talk anyhow about anything and everything. So yeah, I would say that it's not yes or no, but I think ultimately we are moving forward, but yeah, there's still work to be done.
I would actually echo a lot of things that we've been discussing in terms of the nuance in terms of society is progressing, but then there's so many things happening in order to stop that progress that it's almost having like the opposite effect. And I think it's almost like a battle between society wanting to move forward and then people being put in a position of power. I'm not naming any names here, Trump, but people put in a position of power that then do things that actually then prevent people from actually being themselves or feeling comfortable being themselves. And just to add on to the points that we made, I do feel like because almost everyone here has been involved in an initiative or made an initiative in order to make change in society, I think we do have the more awareness that society wants to make change. Otherwise we as people wouldn't be doing so many things in order to try and push forward the agenda of creating more opportunities for people from different backgrounds and being like making a community for, especially for African Caribbean community who has been so disenfranchised and so like marginalized in certain senses, and then making things in order to help push them forward as well as other communities. I feel like we are so aware that society needs to change, that we are as a people now doing so many things, and now I guess it's just a question of at what stage will society be at a point where we're happy? Because we know society has, had the civil rights movement in America. We know society had the riots in the UK. We know that these things have existed, and they still have existed within the past decade. There's been similar instances, but I guess now's just the time we think, okay, so how quickly are things going to change, and how are we going to make sure in the future generations that they understand the things that we have done should make them want to do more? And I think, as long as you're saying, how will my child make progress in the future more than I have? As long as we can make that the possibility, then we've kind of done our job because we've moved forward with the change in society and we've done better than things have been in the past.